just slowly start with the introduction of today's webinar and let others join us. So yeah, as always, there are a few important announcements. But first of all, I hope your Tuesday is going well, that it's green. I would say that the fact that you found time to join us today already says that your Tuesday has a little bit of green in it. I'm Anastasia Trusinova. I will moderate today's webinar, and I represent University of Tartu in Estonia, and we are blessed with a little bit of sun today, from which I'm trying to hide. But yes, I hope you also have nice and sunny weather. So thank you again for joining. First of all, I wanted to let you know that we are going to record today's webinar because we want as many people to see it as possible, to share this valuable knowledge and information about financing of projects. So it will be recording. My colleague Sarah will start the recording shortly. Maybe she already started it. But I hope you are all okay with it. The recording will be later uploaded to our website, localgogreen.eu. We have a very nice e-learning platform there with different videos and the whole series of Go Green Tuesdays webinars will be uploaded there. So if you missed something, you are very welcome to go there and watch the recordings. They will be uploaded there by the end of October. So if you go there now, you will be able to see some training materials, but not the webinars yet. For that, you have to wait a little bit. But another important announcement that I wanted to make is that we are using a translation tool, which is called Wordly. And this tool allows you to basically see transcripts of today's webinar in your native language. They have quite a wide selection of different languages. I need to activate it real quick. For that, I need to stop sharing my screen. I will just really quickly add Wordly to our session today and also share the invite with all of you. So now you should receive a little pop-up window on your Zoom where you can proceed and set up Wordly to the language you wanted to translate to today's session too. But now I will go ahead and introduce our today's speakers. So as you probably know, today we will talk about financing and attracting green investments. And we have two very knowledgeable experts. One of them is Guillermo. Sorry, I'm just checking the messages in the chat, but it seems that it's mostly automatic messages from note takers. Sorry for this interruption. So our first speaker is Guillermo Escobar from Spain. He is energy efficiency consultant. He has amazing experience in the field, degrees in forestry engineering, energy business. He's also certified energy manager and measurement and verification professional. He has been working in energy efficiency and use of renewables related projects for a very long time already. So we're very happy to have him here today as he can share all his experience. And another valuable point is that he has been actually working for European Commission as well, and also acting as a proposals evaluator. So he has first-hand knowledge of what your proposal needs to include in order to get funded. So please, if you have any questions during his presentation, please type them in our chat. We will have a short Q&A session afterwards at the end of our webinar, so we can address all these questions later. He is also teaching at several universities and business schools, passing by his knowledge to younger professionals and students. So we're very excited to have him here. You can also check his LinkedIn. But before I give a word to Guillermo, I will introduce our second speaker, Roman Kekic. He's Associate Director and Project Manager at the local energy agency, in Slovenia. Okay, guys, I'm really sorry. It seems that my internet connection just interrupted. I hope you can see and hear me now. Apologies for this technical issue. I was just introducing our second speaker, Roman, yeah, basically introducing his background. So he's also experienced in energy auditing and the preparation of local energy concepts, providing support to municipalities in their efforts to enhance energy efficiency and sustainable development. He's also an energy consultant for the National Contact Point for Renewable Energy Sources. Yeah, we're very happy to have him on board today. I will now give the scene to Guillermo and let him proceed with his presentation.
Okay, thank you very much, Anastasia. I will share my presentation. Okay, let's go. Well, today I will introduce three different aspects linked to the investments, to the analysis of projects. The first one is the basic profitability indicators in sustainability projects. The second one is have a look on the traditional financing options, and the third one is a new, not very new, but maybe quite a unknown financial option, which is called energy performance contracts. Let's go with the first content. Every project need to be analyzed from the economic point of view, and also from the financial affordability point of view, because sustainability projects must not be an additional burden for the citizens, for the European citizens' economy, and also life cycle cost of projects help us analyze which project is equal or negative in benefits, and so the projects must be produce wealth and not a burden. And to everybody knows also that money grows with the time, and money have to be discounted if we go back in time. And those concepts are the basics of the economic analysis. And now let's pass to three very useful indicators that help public bodies in general or any entity, even corporations, to analyze projects from three different points of view. The first one is the so-called net present value or project. This indicator help us to decide if a project must go on or not. NPV is the addition of present value incomes of the project and present value of costs. Let's say we make the addition of incomes and outcomes of the project, and we have the net present value naturally given to the present time. Every cash flow must be given to the present time before make the addition. And if the result of the NPV is zero, it means that the project doesn't create profit, but also doesn't create a net loss. If the NPV is positive value, it means we should go on with the project because the project will be profitable, will create wealth. If it is negative, obviously, the project will result in a net loss. So we had to abandon this project. Uh, so this is the indicators to choose the project going on and the project that must be stopped. The second indicator is the internal rate of return, and this indicator helps us to choose between different projects that are positive, that have a NPV value positive, but we have not enough money to implement all of them. And then we have to choose the best one or the best ones. And the internal rate of return is the discount rate such that the present value of future incomes, it is equal to the present value of initial and future costs. So is the internal return rate that would create an NPV equal to zero. So if we have two different projects, good projects with different interest return rate, we have to choose the project that has the higher IRR. We have to use this indicator because several times every firm, everybody, every public body has different good projects and have to choose because it has not enough money to implement all of them. And the third indicator, it is used to select the less expensive option when, in the case we have several projects, all of them are not positive in NPV, so it means that they create a net loss, but we have to implement some of them because those projects may have a lot of not economic benefits, has another benefits for the society, for the for the fight against the climate change, etc., etc. Then we have to calculate the LCC value. We have to add all of the values of all cash flows we have to pay along the lifespan of the project brought to the present time. And then we should select the project that whose LCC is the less of all of them. I wrote an example about the comparison among gasoline car or electric car. It's a very common decision that municipalities have to make. And it is I think it's an example very close to municipalities. So I made an exercise, just an example with the scheme or financial schemes. In example, we have the gasoline fueled car, and we know we have to pay for the car and also to pay for gasoline along the time. And in comparison, we have the electric car, which may suppose a higher investment initially, but afterwards we have to pay much less for the electricity. So we make the comparison having in mind the rate of discount. I use a 10%. It's just an example, and the lifespan of the car, the time we think we have the car in our balance, and we can to compare. Well, we can compare which is the less expensive option. In this case, it is cheaper or less expensive the electric car. It's just so it is a good tool, the LCC, to select among different projects that don't have economic profitability. And now we have to talk about financial or financing options to develop product, because it is very important to have a very solid financial scheme when we are going to implement a project. This is basic for the project success. Our projects needs to be financed because we have to pay for preparatory tasks. Also, we have to face initial investment cost, the upfront cost of the project. It is also so-called CapEx, capital expenditure, and to pay for the operation and the maintenance of the projects in its along its life. This is a scheme of the financial situation of a project. We have to pay at the beginning a lot of money for the initial investments, and afterwards we have to pay every year or every month for operation and maintenance. But maybe we have also some incomes. Incomes could be come from selling renewable electricity, or in example, reduce waste treatment cost, or reduce payments for energy in case of energy efficiency projects. Well, we have three ways to finance the projects. The traditional, the first one is to use our resources, using cash on hand, and the simple one, it is the simplest financial scheme, the own resources. We don't need the approval of third parties. This is just a decision of the body who is going to invest. So it means less delays in project decision and project implementation. The second one is also very well known, is to borrow money through loans or bonds. Loans is just to go to a financial institution and ask for money and giving some guarantees for the payback. And the other way is the bonds. In this case, is the institution that asks for money, that borrows money, who has to set the interest rate. Well, maybe in municipalities it's not very common, but the states many times finance their projects with public bonds. Everybody know the public bonds. And the third way of financing is in the leasing. Leasing have two different schemes. The operating leasing, also called true lease, and it means just to rent the project assets and don't have to pay in the upfront cost, but to pay the rent for having or using the assets. The second one is the financial lease, which means to rent the capital we need to implement the projects. Those two ways to make leasing have different treatment from the taxing point of view. It must be taken into account also. And the second way to implement projects, it is not through traditional financing schemes, but it is by means of energy performance contracts. The advantage of energy performance contracts, it has two advantages. The first one is that the body who wants to develop a project do not have to accomplish the upfront cost. It means that the municipality or the regional body do not have to pay in the beginning for the project, because there is a company called energy services company who is in charge to make the initial investments, and afterwards the repayment of the project will be based on the results of the project. That means that we could say that the tenant, the client, and the ESCO, the energy service company, are financial partners or project partners along the life of the projects. Then a contract must be signed between the parts, and the ESCO finance the project, and afterwards the tenant could pay the project with the savings obtained in the project. If the project doesn't create profits, doesn't create real savings, the tenant do not have to pay. The financial scheme of these projects works in this way. Before the performance contract, there is a budget for operations that pays the tenant. After the project implementation, there is a saving, so the operation budget is reduced, and from the saving cash flow, the ESCO is repaid, pay the debt, verification and measurement cost as also paid, and even there is a cash flow, a free cash flow, let's say a saving. This save is in order to pay or used to pay the ESCO for the services. So it is the repayment part of the project. And after the project, I mean, when the ESCO finalizes its services, and the tenant will pay less because it has a project, and the cash flow, the free cash flow, the benefit is much higher. Nevertheless, there would be additional management cost and training of operator that it has to be taken into account. And the difference between the common or traditional financial option for the project is that is business as usual. The customer, the tenant, have to get capital from the bank and then pay to the installer, to the general contractor. And in the energy performance contract scheme, the customer, the tenant, asks for the projects, pays to the ESCO only if it has benefits during the projects, and the ESCO is the entity that has to go for money to the bank and pay afterwards the loan. So in this scheme, the tenant reduce not only the financial risk because the tenant only pays if there is benefits, uh, but also it doesn't create a debt for the public body because the debt is taken by the ESCO. So it is also important and a good tool for municipalities to implement projects when municipalities don't have money to go on. And as a conclusion to my short speech is that the projects must be profitable or at least neutral. And the second one is that a solid financial structure must be ensured before proceeding with any project. And finally, that traditional financial schemes are adequate sometimes, many times, but new schemes should be taken into account. And for my part, no more that, but to thank Anastasia and University of Tartu for doing so well, and the other rest of partners of local GoGreen project. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Guillermo. It was very interesting. I will just ask you to stop screen sharing so that Roman can start sharing his
Okay.
slides. And yeah, I will just invite Roman to proceed with his part. We agreed that he will share some good practices and good cases from Slovenia.
So, hello everyone, also from my side, and thank you, Anastasia, for the introduction. Well, as a follow-up to the
Only
presentation,
thing, Roman, sorry, so sorry for
yes.
interrupting. We don't see you, your
Oh,
video.
it's wait just a second because okay, now it
Yes, now
should start
now it's
working.
better.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, I will, as a follow-up to the presentation from Guillermo, I will present a practice example from Slovenia on financing local actions. Well, it's not a innovative scheme, not even I don't know, a public-private partnership or energy performance contracting, as you heard from Guillermo. Um, well, all these schemes are good for financing local actions. We have in our country experiences with most of them. Some were good, some also went wrong. Unfortunately, we have also some negative experience with financing through crowdfunding. And the real bad thing is that such a bad experience casts a bad light on something that actually should work well. Well, but I'm not here to present bad examples, so let's move to my practice example. In the discussion for today's presentation, I was told to present some inspiring um, uh, examples of getting EU funding for small initiatives or something similar. We have some good financial incentives for small municipal actions in Slovenia, such as the calls from the Slovenian Eco Fund, who supports energy efficiency measures, or Borzen, who supports investments into renewable energy and electric mobility. But at the end, I decided to present a national grant for larger municipal projects that gained huge visibility in the past 2 years. Let me just see. Okay. This is the public call for co-financing the construction of new facilities for the production of electricity from solar energy on public buildings and car park lots for the period 2024 till 2026. It's a long name for a call, but the tender was published on 1st March 2024, and from the Ministry of Environment, Climate and Energy. And within the call available were 48 million euros. And the subject of the call are grants for the co-financing of the construction of new self-supply facilities on public roofs or structures located next to public buildings and or paved parking areas. The requirement is that the building land is owned by municipalities or the state. The project requirements are a total installed capacity of PV installation per individual application at least 1 megawatt, with or without battery storage system. In the case of small municipalities, that means bundling the projects and applying in consortium was necessary. The funds are intended for new self-supply and electricity storage facilities, and battery storage was an option only in combination with PV. This means that standalone storage investments were not possible. So in practice, possible are two types of installation or a scheme, or how to name it. A single installation for self-supply of the building were installed, or community PV, where the produced electricity is shared between different municipal public buildings. The second option makes sense in this case, as there is a lot of buildings with small roofs compared to the consumption of the building, and buildings with a consumption which is relatively large, or have a large roof but a small consumption. So in this way, the electricity could be shared between the buildings, and that way compensated. The financial resources for the implementation of the public call are provided by the European Union under the recovery instrument, Next Generation EU, through the Recovery and Resilience Facility within the framework of the National Recovery and Resilience Plan, and going deeper in detail under the development area, green transition component one, etc., etc., etc. That's actually the way how the funding was handled. So in practice for the municipalities, in the frame of the call, they could get up to 100% funding for PV installation, but not more than 730 euros per kilowatt. In case the municipality is the only investor, or in the case of a private-public partnership, they could obtain 358 euro per kilowatt of installed PV, but in both cases, not more than 5 million euros per project. So there were three dates to apply to the call, and that was April 24, September 2024, and February this year. So the reason why I decided to present this grant is also that our pilot municipality, Ormož, apply to the call. As Ormož is a small municipality that only hardly reaches 1 megawatt, which is the minimum of installation to apply. And this is only the minimum requirement, which means that a bigger project gets a better score. And there were competitors, as for example, Ljubljana, our capital city, and there was a bit of fear that not getting funded. So the small municipalities applied in consortium with, in some cases, up to 10 municipalities, for example, for a project. And that was the case also with Ormož. They joined the consortium in two calls. So first they applied together in a consortium of 10 municipalities. The name of the consortium was Solarna Energia, which means like solar energy. They applied with a total installation of 1.55 megawatt and got granted about 1.1 million. The municipality applied again in a consortium on the third call, where 6 municipalities together applied with a PV installation of 3.81 megawatt and got granted with almost 2.7 million. So in the second call, the municipality of Ormož applied with 6 installations and a total investment of almost 760,000 euro for the municipality, from which the share of the grant was almost 510,000 euro. As you can see in the table on the right side, these are the 6 PV installations with a total installed power of almost 1 megawatt. And as to compare the production of such PV installations would be enough for powering about 300 households. And as Ormož is a small municipality, this means more than 6% of all households in the municipality. That's just for comparison. And but the reason why Ormož applied and went for the project was just to lower its energy costs on the public buildings and in that way to help the municipal budget. So converted into money, we're talking about 200,000 euro of savings per year. And if we consider that in this project, their share of co-financing was about 250,000 euros. You can imagine that that's just a bit over 1 year of payback, and after that, they're on the plus side totally. They also applied in the third call in a consortium called Sončna mreža, which means solar or sun grid. With only two smaller installation, both together about 155,000 euro of investment. But the PV installations are not implemented yet. Here I have also some total results from the total call so far granted. About or a bit less than 38 million euros. um, which means 24 projects granted in total. But as I said, most of these projects are in consortium. So a much higher number of municipalities got the support for their PV installations. The total installed power so far 55 megawatts and installed battery capacity of about 1,610 kilowatt hours. In 5 projects, they are applied also with battery storage. All other projects have been just PV installations. So considering the average production from solar energy in Slovenia, all these projects together account for about 60 gigawatt of electricity produced per year, or converted into money. This means about 12 million euros per year, which is equivalent to the consumption of about 15 to 18,000 households. That's quite a number. As you can see, there are some positive results on the side of municipalities in terms of lowering the electricity costs. The government, on the other side, invested in expanding the share of renewable energy and in that way reaching its targets. It helped also the local economy, the PV installers, the project planners, the engineers, and all other stakeholders involved. I think by carefully studying this approach, it could have a strong replication potential for transfer to other countries when we are talking on national level. But from my opinion, all aspects needs to be considered and taken into account. As said at the very beginning, we had some bad experience with some of the financing opportunities we had. And also here some issues occurred, which should be carefully studied for any potential replications. The main issue, of course, is how to deal with the excess production. The times of net metering, where we made the billing once per year, are over in Slovenia, at least for new applications. And as said, there were two types of installations, a normal installation for self-supply or for community supply. But in both cases, the electricity is used only when produced and the excess is being sold. And when no production, it is bought from the grid. So the issue is that the suppliers gave very low prices when selling and high prices when for buying. So in that way, it was really, but at the moment, the municipalities are not worrying too much because they got the PV installations almost for free or very cheap, so to say. But however, it's not an optimal option they have now. Therefore, a selection of proper consumers could help a lot. I mean, consumers with a more constant electricity consumption patterns. But this is difficult as we're talking here about municipal offices, school buildings, and similar. So more emphasis could be um, taken on battery systems. That's definitely to consider in the future. And one issue was, for example, that in the coal, it was only for municipal owned facilities and wastewater treatment plants were not included in the call. But it would make sense to include them as they have a very constant electricity consumption patterns. And on the other side, they are part of the, so to say, public infrastructure. And it would make sense to include such systems. So this could also be something to be considered in the future. And another possible side effect could also be, or it could also have on the development of energy communities, especially when we're talking about citizen energy communities. In the EU solar strategy, it says that each municipality with a population above 10,000 people should plan energy communities, and Slovenia has transposed this into our national legislation. But now we can expect that municipalities will most probably say that they implemented it already through these projects, as they see this community PV, or let's say sharing the production between its own buildings as a kind of a energy community in that way. And our national legislation is not so strict here. So the question will be how this is going to affect the development of real citizen energy communities, because it can happen that the municipalities may not be the driver of this development. And I hope this will not be the case, but anyway, it's still an option. So I didn't want it to make at the end only this bad propaganda for such a call, but just wanted to say that when replicating it, it's good to consider also the side effects and what could happen. Um, but otherwise, uh, I can say that so far the municipalities are very satisfied. Um, More or less, they equip their public buildings with solar PV, and in that way being kind of a good practice example, and like a forerunner in their local environment. So that's from my side all, I think. So thank you for your patience with me.
Thank you, Roman. No patience was needed. It was very interesting, and I think such a great example of small municipalities getting together and applying for funding together. Because I feel like this is one of the fears when it comes to getting the funding. When you come from a very small place. But this is, such a nice example of turning a small thing into something bigger.
Yeah.
And
Well, actually, I think that's becoming, at least in our country, the new future or the new reality, because I think the government don't want to deal with I don't know, hundreds of applications. Actually, what they got now is 24 projects. Even though if all those 24 projects been, I don't know, actually, like we have over 200 municipalities, and most of them applied here. So I would say um, that's what they are looking for, and what I'm hearing on events, or it's more or less the direction they are
mm.
going now.
Yeah, and that's actually one of the questions I wanted to ask you about like, what about emerging trends in the field of, green financing, especially like in Central and Eastern Europe. So I think this is one of the trends.
Um, yes, at least. Okay, I think we lost you. I don't know if you can hear me.
Sorry, I think my internet today is not cooperating. I just keep interrupting, so I didn't hear your answer.
No worries. I wasn't sure if you completed the question, but yes. Well, I think that's definitely something that's becoming a trend. And if it lowers the administration and this bureaucratic barriers on both sides, from the funder and on the side of the applicants, I think it makes totally sense. And I think I'm just thinking where happened this first. It was with again, a call for some energy renovations. There was also this minimum requirement. Well, small municipalities had already issues to apply a loan, so they already had to make consortiums, and they did it, and they got funded. And I think that's becoming something of a practice in our country, and I think that's the direction, at least with the larger projects, they will go. There's still support for the really smaller actions, and I think they will stay. But for larger projects, they will try to I think with they can make a bigger impact in that way, and it helps more reaching the targets.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you. I also have one question for Guillermo. Since you have such a wide experience with the EU-funded project since early 90s, I wanted to ask how did the financial landscape for energy efficiency evolved over the decades? What are the maybe you noticed some changes, or again, as we discussed with Roman, some trends. Maybe you can share your thoughts on that.
Well, yes, the situation has changed a lot from the 80s of the last century. I can remember when I started working for the European Commission and in European related projects, there were supporting programs uh, to promote energy efficiency and end use of renewable, not a big or large farms of PV or wind, but for small use. And there were a lot of small and medium sized projects that help to develop a new ways for the innovative technologies. And then we were talking about good insulation, uh, condensing boilers. So they now are old or very well known technologies. And there were very many small projects. I mean, about 2,000, 3,000, 100 euros. So it is, they were very small. Now, projects are very big, are very oriented to specific technologies according the terms of reference of the calls. And small projects or medium-sized projects must be financed not from the European Commission programs, but from the national or regional governments schemes, grant schemes. And in example, talking about PV, to make a comparison with the situation in Slovenia or so. In Spain, there were grant schemes to support small and medium sized PV plants, and now they are not in operation anymore because in fact PV is profitable itself. And, we have built in the village I live. We have built recently in a small community PV plant. It is about 60 kilowatts. Yes, it's a very small plant for 45 more or less persons. And one of the partners of the community is the municipality of the village. Yes, they give us for free the field to construct the plant, and they also pay for they they took 3 kilowatts. They also pay for the 3 kilowatts, and we expect to recover the investment in 6 years, taking into account operative cost. I mean, upfront cost and also operative cost, and only with the reduction in our electricity invoice, the utility invoice, we expect to recover the money in 6 years. This is not a professional. This is not a company project to look for profit, but just to reduce our utility bill and also to reduce our environmental impact. I mean, so in short, uh, grants or financial schemes for small investments are not anymore in operation, and not only because new technologies are, are are already profitable, but also because they are not operative. The problem with grants, I don't know in other countries, but in Spain, it is the time being from the moment you ask for the money, the moment the administration gives you the okay, and the moment they pay to you. It, it means 1 year or 2 years. If you start working the clock when you ask for the money, and you see the time pass when you receive finally the money. It is very complicated, and many people do not use those schemes.
Okay, very interesting to compare two different cases, two different countries. So thank you for bringing this example from Spain, from your village. And with that, I think it's time to wrap up our last webinar for Go Green Tuesdays. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you, Guillermo. Thank you, Roman. And thank you everyone who found time to join us today. So I wish you a wonderful rest of your day. And if you're interested in more project activities, please check out our website, localgogreen.eu, and stay updated and posted on what else we do. So thank you so much. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Thank
you.
you all.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 Bye, Nastya.